Featured on CNN Money. Consistently ranked as a top 10 tier employment attorney by Expertise Connections. A human resources consultant, expert, and advocate. Informational, inspirational, and entertaining. One of the most talked about and progressive shows on social media. Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stewart.
Welcome to Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stewart. We are so excited that we have this beautiful actor that have taken time out of his busy schedule. You know, Hollywood life takes you in many different directions, but he had time to stop by and spend a little time with us on today to tell us about his career and all of the exciting things that he is doing. You're tuned in to Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stewart. We are located at 231 South Beamiston Avenue, Clayton, Missouri. You can email us at law@sheilastewart.com. Thank you for being with us on today. And we are airing on Daily Gospel Network, Daily Gospel International. We are also on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, YouTube, and Facebook. So there are many platforms that you can watch this show. Today, we have Chaz Ingram in the studio with us. He has done an outstanding job. He is a trailblazer actor that has relocated to the sunny city of Los Angeles, California. And there he is doing a tremendous job. Let me just give you a little bit about Chaz, tell you a little bit about his background before we turn it loose to him to let him answer some of our questions. He is a Christian actor. He is just a good guy that would make a great leading role for any movie that's upcoming. Okay, let me get that pitch in for Chaz. Chaz started his career in TV and film. He studied at the University of Kansas, KU. I am also a KU Jayhawk. Yeah. He has been listed among the most outstanding young men in publications. He has also been chosen as Role Model of the Year in 1995 and 96, and he was listed in the St. Louis Business Journal as the top 40 awardees for under 40. He has done a lot of work, and he shared the stage with Wayne Gretzky. Now, those of you who are St. Louis Blues fans, you would know that Wayne Gretzky was a hockey player, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Well, Chaz was recognized at the same time Wayne Gretzky was recognized with the St. Louis Blues. Chaz has also had a successful career as in radio broadcasting, as a talk show host for KXEN Radio, and as an account executive for KSDK TV. He later visited Los Angeles and caught the bug. He caught the bug to be an actor, and he followed his dream. How many of you that's listening to me on this evening, you are going to follow your dream? Whatever that dream may be, follow your dream. He followed his dream and he relocated to Los Angeles, California. There he landed a lead role in a stage play after just being there a month. Now, can you imagine all of the fear, all of the anxiety of relocating to Los Angeles to become an actor or an actress, and then after being there only 30 days, you get a leading role in a play? I would have to say it was God ordained for you to go there, and that things just began to open up for him. He has appeared in such great television shows as American Auto, Outlaw, Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds is one of my favorite crime shows, and he was in Criminal Minds. And most recently, he appeared in the show The Neighborhood with St. Louis and Cedric the Entertainer. And this is an upcoming show and series that's going to be aired on HBO. And also, this is the big thing. Chaz had an opportunity to play in the big blockbuster film Top Gun Maverick, a remake of the 1986 classic. Here he landed a watershed role in the remake of this show. And he also played in White Men Can't Jump. Now I can go on and on and on, but I know you want to hear from him. You want to hear about how he did it. I want to hear how he did it and how he's still doing it. Chaz, welcome to the show. How are you on today?
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you so much. I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me. I'm honored, and I didn't know that I put all that in there. So anyway, thanks for sharing all that.
No, absolutely, because I have a friend, and I know she's going to watch this show, and she's over 60.
Okay.
And one of her dreams has been to be an actress and get into the film industry. She's a very beautiful young woman, and she wants to do this. And I've been encouraging, go to LA, get it done. You can do it. The only thing that's going to cause it to fail is if you don't go. Right. And so this show is going to motivate many individuals, whether they want to go back to school to get a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a medical degree, or become an actress.
Right.
Follow your dream. Tell us, Chaz, how you were able to make such a fundamental decision to say, hey, I'm going to follow my dream.
Yeah. You know, I tell you, Sheila, first of all, let me just start off with this. You just got to jump. Steve Harvey says it all the time, right? You just have to take a leap of faith, and I'm a man of God. So my belief in God is very strong. And so I believe that's the foundation of believing, and so you believe in God, you believe in yourself, then yeah, anything is possible. And all of those things that you tend to say or whatnot. But when the rubber meets the road, as they say, and it's time for you to put that faith or belief into action, what do? Do you just stand there and, you freeze, or do you act on it? I just chose to act. I believed in God. And can I share this with you? Church folks, I just preached a sermon last Sunday, and I shared with the congregation that, church folks can be tough. People were asking me, right? Mm-hmm. God tell you to go to LA, when I made the decision. My cousin challenged me and whatnot. And here's the deal. I initially was thinking, I don't want to be judged. So I was going to lie and say, yeah, God told me, because I didn't want to be judged by the church folks, right?
Right, absolutely.
but I thought about it and I said, no, God didn't tell me to go to LA. I'll be honest with you, because they want to make sure that your steps are ordered by the Lord. And I get it. But Sheila, I tell you, what I did know, I honestly couldn't answer and say, yeah, God directed me to LA. But what I do know is that God knows me. God knows my DNA. He knows who I am, right? And so I'm ambitious. I believe in something, I go for it. What I knew was that God would protect me. God would watch over me. And even if it was the wrong decision by somebody's standards, right, that God would take care of me and I'd find my way back if, in fact, that was not the right decision. I'm not encouraging anybody to move without God's anointing or anything of that nature, but I am saying that God knows us and he watches over us. And I just made the decision I was going to make that move. And as you said, it turned out to be okay, so.
What about housing? People say LA is one of the most expensive, markets to live in. And so let's say I want to move to LA and get started in the business. Tell us about the housing market there, because you have a beautiful home and like I said, you did it. So tell us about all of that part of it that people don't really think about in terms of relocating.
My goodness, LA, the number 2 market in the country, right? A lot of folks, and it is very expensive to live in LA. And you got to have a support system, right? And sometimes it might take a roommate or 2 or 3 roommates, in starting out. Hey, it's the college life, Sheila, right? Mm-hmm. You know, we had roommates, and that's difficult to do when you're an adult. You know, it's a little more challenging opposed to being 18, 19 years old.
Right.
But you know, yeah, you got to have a support system, and figure out a way to make it happen while you're in the struggle. You know, and then you know, I just believe you got to have a partnership. You know, and that's what God blessed, and I married, and that kind of thing. You pull your resources together, and you make things happen. And so, but I think in the initial stages of it, you got to have you got to have support system, people who share in your dreams and your beliefs or whatnot. They don't have to be actors or whatever the case, but people who believe in you and that kind of thing. And I think that will help catapult you to the next level, as it did me. You know.
That was a very powerful statement that you made. And I don't even know if you realized what you said, so I'm going to go back to it. You said you have to learn how to make it happen during the struggle. That's powerful.
Yeah. You do. I mean, because this is not for the faint of heart. You know, it's not for the faint of heart. And if you bow and you bend at the first sign of rejection, then you might as well stay where you're at, right? You got to have a thick skin. No cannot be something that breaks you. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, you gotta figure it out, you know, and not have pity parties. And you just understand that this is part of the process. The rejections and whatnot, it's part of the process. And if you're willing to go through that and you're willing to withstand the struggle, you'll be okay. But you gotta have a thick skin, man, and say, you know what, come what may, I'm gonna get to the prize, you know, and keep your eyes on that prize and be diligent in getting it.
That's excellent advice. How did you land this role when you first got there in the stage play? And tell us about the stage play.
Okay. A friend of mine who is from St. Louis, she's an actor, and she had a friend who, owed her a favor. And she said, we were childhood friends, literally grew up in North St. Louis together and whatnot. And she said, hey, I got a friend named Chaz, and hey, that favor you owe me, can you just give him some headshots at no cost? I didn't have a lot of money, Sheila. I didn't come here with $500 maybe in my pocket. Okay. But he said, okay. He got me some headshots the first week I was in LA. I put those headshots on a site called LA Casting.
Oh, wow.
On LA Casting, they see your shot, they see your headshot, and they call you or email you or whatever the case. I put my headshot on LA Casting that immediately after getting the headshots, and I started getting all these contacts and people inquiring and so forth and inviting me to auditions. And I asked my friend, I was like, whoa, what do I do? What do I do? She said, respond. And so I did. And I was invited. I don't know. I had maybe like 3 or 4 auditions, like the second week I was in LA. And yeah, I got one of the lead roles in a stage play called Once on This Island. But that's how it started. I put them on a website, and I was called. They started calling me, and I auditioned the second week and got the lead role, one of the lead roles in that play.
That is phenomenal. So for individuals that are older, okay, that want to get into this business, like I said, my friend that's practiced law and she's older, but she's beautiful and has a lot of talent. What would you say to the older individuals who this is their dream, individuals that's over 40 and even over 50? What advice would you give to that group? Because when I think of LA, I primarily think of a younger market.
Sure. Right. Absolutely. Listen, Sheila, I left St. Louis. My mom passed in 2004. July of 2004. In September of 2004, when I was 40 years old, mind you, I took off to LA. I had a round trip ticket, came to LA, and you already know the story I just gave you as far as I was like, I'm here for 3 weeks. Let me just audition, and happened to get a lead role. I was 40 years old And at that time, when I auditioned and I got that lead role, I was like, I think I'm staying. I'm staying. I didn't even use the return ticket to St. Louis.
Wow.
I stayed in LA, and I just said, you know what? This is it. I looked at that role that I got in that lead as a sign from God. This is to be, you know? And so to anybody, 40, 50, whatever, I go back to Steve Harvey's statement. You got to take a leap of faith. You just have to jump. You got to believe. You got to believe. And I'm careful in saying you got to believe in you, and you do have to believe in you, but you can believe in you. But if you don't have any belief in God, I don't know how much that's going to help you. So I always say first, you got to believe in God, but you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. If you don't, then yeah, it's difficult to meet any challenge in life. I don't care whether it's as an actor or as an accountant or as a cook. You know what I mean? So for that young lady, I say believe, have faith. If it's in you and it's your passion, you understand? I'd rather take that risk than sit back in my rocking chair at 75, 80 years old and say, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda. No, go for it. The worst thing that can happen is that it doesn't work out. If it doesn't, then go back to your comfort zone, wherever that is. But you gotta jump. You gotta believe and you gotta go for it, because oftentimes, we don't even know what resides on the inside of us, the talents and the drive and the ambitions, until we meet it face to face. And then you be like, oh, wow, I can do this. So I say to her, jump, go for it.
Very good. Very good. Tell us about your role, receiving your role in Criminal Minds. That's one of my favorite shows. And you actually you had a nice role in that show. I saw it. Tell us about how you were able to achieve that spot.
Sheila, it hasn't been easy. I would say that, so I am blessed to experience what I'm experiencing right now. But for many years, I did not have an agent. So let me just start right there. You got, if you come to this city, if you come to LA and this is your passion to pursue acting, you have to get an agent. You have to get an agent. I made my way into LA for many, many years trying to make things happen, but I didn't have an agent. So things were happening, but they weren't happening at the rate that I wanted them to happen. So I spent from 2004, and it was the end of 2004. So I always say really about 2005, but from 2005 up until probably 2015. So 10 years, in 2015, 2016, I got an agent. When I got an agent, that's when things started to happen. Because when you get an agent, the industry, they see you as someone who's serious about it. There are a lot of people out there who are just doing things just to do it. In other words, there's background acting. So you can get into background acting where they cast people for the environment, just for the atmosphere. Okay, if they need somebody walking across a bridge, you don't have any lines. They just want you to walk across the bridge, right? You're a background actor. And there are many people that do that who are not looking to become principal actors. If you're looking to become a principal actor, though, you have to get an agent, because once you get an agent, then that person, they get information every day downloaded to them as to what roles are available. And if they're looking for an African-American 5 feet, 11 inches tall, that's me. You understand? And so they cast me in that. And that's really how it all starts. And as far as Criminal Minds is concerned, my agent, she submitted my picture, she submitted my profile, went in for an audition, and thank God I nailed it, right? You know what I mean? And got the call back to get that role. So just fortunate, man, just fortunate.
So is getting an agent a difficult process or an expensive process that caused you to delay that decision?
It's a challenging process because, it's all about the money. And if they don't think they can make money off of you, they're not just going to, just hire you, right? And it's not expensive at all because there is no cost up front or anything like that. If anybody asks for cost up front, then they're probably a scam artist, right? Because an agent gets a percentage of what you earn after you earn it. You don't pay to get it with them, right? You don't pay to be a part of their clientele. They get a percentage of what you make once you get paid. But it is challenging because, how do you do it? There's no one right way to get an agent. I will say this, if I might. One way to get an agent, right, is that you become part of an improvisation class or whatnot, whether it's acting class, comedy, or that kind of thing. And what they do, Sheila, is they put on improv classes, and they may go for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or whatever the case. At the end of those 6 to 8 weeks, they will then put on a full-blown production, and they invite agents to come to that production, right? Okay. After they have rehearsed for 6 to 8 weeks, and everybody's got a scene here, and they do a scene, and then the entire class, whether it's a group of 10, 12 people, will come together at the end of those 6 to 8 weeks, and they do a full-blown production. I say full-blown, not a 2-hour thing, but maybe a 45-minute hour production. They invite agents or managers to come, casting directors, or invited to come to that production. And from that class or that production, agents will inquire about the different actors. Hey, okay, do you have an agent or whatnot? And that's how I got my agent, actually.
Okay, so you were a part of a production that these agents actually saw and viewed.
And what's interesting, I didn't want to keep going because I'm trying to be very precise in my answers here.
Excellent job.
Okay, at the time, Sheila, I was not even part of the production. I'm part of that class, but I had just started, so I had started kind of very close to the end. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't even part of the production. The agent who inquired about one of the young ladies, who's also from St. Louis, very good actor, she came up to the young lady. The young lady and I, we were talking about, I was like, girl, you were good. You did a wonderful job. The agent came up and she said the same thing. She said, oh, I really enjoyed you. Here's my card. And she mm-hmm. gave the young lady her card. And I'm thinking, well, can I have one too? I know you didn't see me perform. Can I have one? And she gave me her card. I sat down, Sheila, the very next day, and I wrote a long email. And I said, lady, look, I know you don't know me, but I believe somebody at some point in your life took a chance on you, right? Mm-hmm. I need you to offer me that same opportunity. I need a chance. I need you to take a chance on me. She responded. She said, let's meet for lunch. We met for lunch, and she signed me up about a week later.
Oh, that is awesome. Congratulations. Yeah. That is wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think you're so genuine in your approach and heartfelt and personable. And I think that's very key. Because individuals like that, they can establish a relationship early on, a rapport with the person. I think that's the way you come off, and the person just couldn't turn away. Yeah. And I heard Joel Osteen said, mm-hmm. said, God can bless us with such favor that when people turn and look at us, they can't look away. And he said, you pray for favor. And when God gives you favor, people won't be able to turn you away. And I believe God is blessing you with that. Yeah. For those of you who are watching, you're tuned in to Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stewart. We have the one and only Chaz Ingram with us on today. He is a phenomenal actor in Hollywood. He's doing a great job. This is going to be a 2-part show. You are tuned in to part 1. We're going to air part 2 on next week. And you can hear all of the great things that he has done in Los Angeles, California, and how he is not only a phenomenal actor, but he is a man of God. He's a man that put his confidence in God. Before we go off air, what would you tell the people that's listening, that's tuned in late, and they were listening to you and just enjoying what you were saying? What would be your final words to those individuals as it relates to following the dream?
I've heard it said once before that there are more dreams in the graveyard than there are even in life as we live it now. And I believe that that's true. So many people die having never realize their dream. And so I say to you, go after your dream. Don't let your dream die with you, you know. And so you have to believe in God, believe in yourself and your abilities and the talents that God has given you, and then pursue your dream and then do whatever it takes to achieve it.
Wonderful. Excellent. Thank you for tuning in to Legal Views with Attorney Sheila R. Stewart, and join us on next week for part 2 as Chaz give us information on Hollywood acting and his phenomenal role in the blockbuster movie Top Gun, the Maverick. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for joining us on Legal Views with Attorney Sheila R. Stewart. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.